Are you struggling to get your orchestral mockups to sound right? You tweak plugin after plugin, but still can't get that big, clear, balanced sound? I've been there. And while I'm no expert mixer, I have found a habit that helps me achieve much better results. And that habit is using reference tracks. Today, I want to share how you can use reference tracks easily and for free in your next project so that your next orchestral mix will sound way better. Hello everyone, my name is Noam. What is a good mix? In my opinion, a good mix is a clear mix. Every element is easy to hear and very clear. Things that should be in the foreground are in the foreground. Things that should be in the background are in the background and are not distracting from the foreground. And the result is that the music has the emotional impact that it was meant to have. Why is this so hard to achieve? Well, I can think of 3 challenges that I face when I'm mixing. One is my room. While I have done some acoustic treatment, as you can see, it's still far from perfect. And that means that what I hear from my monitors in my room reflects the specific acoustics of my room. And if I get it to sound good here, that doesn't mean that it would sound good in my car or somewhere else. The second challenge is ear fatigue. After working on a mix for 10, 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, I lose all objectivity and have a much harder time making the right decisions because I'm just used to the way it sounds by this point. The third challenge that I face is inexperience. There's no way to replace years of experience that professional audio mixers have. They can hear stuff that I don't hear, and that inexperience translates to less good mixes. So what can I do? Well, you guessed it, use reference tracks. A reference track is basically a track that is similar to my track that I'm working on, both in terms of genre and in terms of instrumentation. I stick that reference track inside my project, and then I go back and forth listening to the reference, listening to my mix, listening to the reference into my mix. And what this allows me is to become objective once again. It exposes all of the problems, all of the things that my ears may have gotten used to, the problems that have to do with my room, and problems I may have not noticed because of inexperience. Sounding pretty good, huh? So before I show you how to technically set up a referencing system in your project, let's hear a little demonstration of how potent this technique can actually be. I have here a little piece of music that I wrote. I will play through it twice, once playing my original version from when I just felt that the mix was sounding good. And the second one was after I brought in a reference track and worked on it some more, getting it as close as I could to the sound of the reference. Here's the original version. And the version after, using the referencing. To help you hone in on the differences, I'm going to now switch back and forth between the original and the enhanced version. I'd say that's a pretty dramatic change, and you may have noticed that the change actually included not only changing in the mix, I actually changed some of the parts as well. Now let's very briefly listen to the reference itself. I will again go back and forth so you can see which one of the versions sounds closer to the reference track. I'll start off by zigzagging between the original version and the reference. Now I will do the same thing with the enhanced version. Okay, I don't know about you, but to my ears, the enhanced version sounds way closer to the reference. So you may have noticed that I was very easily switching between reference and my mix. How do you do that? Well, there are quite a few plugins that are specifically designed for referencing, which range in price from free to a lot of money. I'm gonna start by actually showing a method that I use that doesn't include any plugin. If you've got Cubase Pro, this is a method that I recommend. Very easy to use. Let's see how to set it up. So first thing, if we bring up this audio connections panel by pressing F4, we go to the control room tab and make sure it is on. Once it is on, you can see that the output section have nothing connected, and the control room has these channels which you can add. The monitor channel is my regular monitoring channel where I can listen using my headphones or my monitors. And there is something called Q channels. Okay, these star channels are Q channels. I've added, you can add a channel. I've done that already. I've added it and called it reference. You can leave it not connected. The next step is adding in your reference tracks into the project. And then you take each track that you want to use as a reference and go down here to routing. Make sure it is no bus selected. And under Q sends, make sure to turn it on. That sends the audio from this track only to the Q send and not to our main out. This is very important because we don't want our reference tracks to go through our main output bus, since many times we have plugins on that output bus. We might have limiters or whatever master chain that we are using, and we don't want that to color the sound of the reference track. So once we've got all of that set up, we can go here on the right side, and we've got this reference Q send up here. It's called reference because I gave it that name. Now down here, I have a selector. If mix is selected, I hear my mix. If I select Q, I hear my reference. And I can obviously very easily move between them. One additional step I would very strongly recommend is to make a keyboard shortcut for this Q selection. I actually went one step further and assigned that key command to a hardware controller that I've got here, which means I just have to press a button on my hardware controller to go between the reference and my mix. Pretty cool and handy. If you don't use Cubase and or don't want to use the control room, you'd have to do a routing workaround. Specifically, what I would do is I would send each and every one of my tracks, or if I already have the tracks going into group tracks or buses, I would send those into a new bus or group track, which would serve as the pseudo master bus, meaning any processing that I put on the master bus, I would remove from the master bus and I would put on this new bus or group track. That way I would be leaving my actual master bus clean without any plugins. And then if I add some reference tracks, they could go directly to the master bus output without being affected by your master chain. Then I would just leave those tracks muted and use the solo button to listen to one of the reference tracks and toggle that to go back and forth between that and your mix. But as you see, Cubase has this built-in control room functionality, which makes it very easy. Before I go on to talk about how I would actually use the reference tracks, if you found this content valuable, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That would help me a lot. Now I've got one little bonus tip here. You can actually use YouTube or Spotify or whatever streaming service as a reference track right in your DAW without even having to download. There is a free plugin called Session Wire. You go to their website, download the plugin and install it on your machine. After installing that, here on Windows, I've got this little speaker icon. I click on it. And then I've got all these other outputs here. The Mode 2 M series is my actual audio interface, but I've got all these Session Wire outputs. So I have to set it to from Session Wire. Then go back to my control room here, click on the Inserts tab. And then here I've added this Session Wire Receive plugin on my referencing channel here in the control room. which should receive audio from anything that I play on my PC outside of Cubase. So check this out. If I press play here on Spotify, here I am getting a signal in my control room. Again, toggle this cue insert. Okay, I'm having a little trouble with the playback. Maybe it has to do with my screen recording software, but I checked it out just before and it works perfectly. So before I end this video, I will briefly talk about how I would use references to enhance my mix. First of all, you would have to loudness match the reference. If the reference is much louder than your track, it would be very hard for you to compare the loudness of specific elements inside your mix. Play the reference track, tweak the volume until it sounds similar in general to the volume of your mix. 2, just listen to whatever seems like the most obvious differences. That might be differences in the arrangement. It might be some kind of sonic difference, maybe some area of frequencies, which is much more dominant in the reference or much less dominant in the reference. It could be panning, anything that pops up and you notice right away. I would write down all of these differences. And then the third step would be trying to address these differences. That would mean both making very big moves like EQ moves on the whole mix and preferably going into your tracks and making smaller moves inside the individual tracks. Here's, for instance, my string shorts bus, and this is an EQ move that I made after listening to the reference track because I felt that I was lacking this mid part and that was maybe a little harshness and boominess going on here, which I did not hear in the reference track. Let's check this out with and without. Use without. With. Now, on its own, this move might sound a little weird. Maybe it sounded better without it. But when I was listening to the whole thing, this move made it go a little bit closer to the sound of the reference track. Let's hear it now in context. Actually makes sense now, doesn't it? And so you go on and try to get all the tracks to sound right. You might work on the width, panning things to more to the sides or less. You might change the balance between different elements. Maybe add some volume to your bass elements or the opposite, reduce some volume. Anything that helps you get closer to the sound of the reference track. Now, one caveat is obviously that a reference track is not always exactly what you want your music to sound like. In the end, your music is your music and it's supposed to sound like your music and not like anybody else's sound. This is just a way to make it sound more polished and more like you would like it to sound in the first place. So as long as you're making decisions with this in mind, you should be fine. One further step that I would take is after I've done all I can using my ears, I would start using my eyes. I would turn on some analyzers and check for differences in spectrum between the reference and my mix. There are these days also very cool plugins that actually can show you exactly the EQ curve of your reference. Even in Cubase, we've got supervision, which here I have set up with my reference track as a sidechain input. And then, that's not what I meant. Here I can pick mix down main and sidechain. And what happens is I get both of these curves, one on top of each other. The blue one is my mix and the white one is the reference. If you've got tonal balance control or ozone from Isotope, you can actually pop your reference track straight into here and create target from audio file. And it gives you a very specific EQ curve which you can try to match, which is pretty cool. Here, if I play my mix again, we can see exactly where it's deviating from the reference, like here and here. You can actually even go straight into some of the EQs if you're using Ozone EQs or Isotope plugins and go and tweak them. This is an EQ, I'm not even sure from what track, but it's from one of the other tracks, which I tweaked to remove some of this area. I could go into this even further. If you would like me to make another video diving a little deeper how to actually use the reference tracks to enhance your mix, let me know in the comments. So what I would suggest for you to do is in your next project, use one of the techniques that I showed you in this video to add a reference track to your project. Obviously, you have to find a reference track that matches your genre and your instrumentation as closely as possible. And then try to get your mix to sound as close as possible to the reference track. Let me know in the comments how that went. Do you have another way of using reference tracks or any other tips or questions or comments? Please leave them down below. I read every single one and we could all learn from each other. If you haven't done so yet, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.